Hello friends, if you are here from the system design series, welcome back. We spent 10 videos on how to build systems that don't fall over. Now we are pointing the same thinking at the technology everyone's talking about, that is AI. And like always, we will start from the basics and foundations. So this series is more of from a perspective where you want to build something for your internal organization. This is not where you want to build some app using a ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. This series is more focused where you are part of an organization where you want to build some AI agent or an AI assistant. The examples or use cases can be simple chatbot for customer support, or maybe if you're doing software development, or maybe you want to create an agent in cybersecurity which can detect suspicious activity, summarize alerts, and raise incidents, or document intelligence, knowledge assistant, etc. Okay, so let's see how ChatGPT exactly works, or for that matter, how your Gemini and Claude or any other LLM or AI model, how it works. Let's dive in. So okay, so now if I write a statement, let's say a few statements like uh, the cat sat on the okay. uh, if I give you fill in the blanks, then obviously you will say it is mat. Or maybe if I write twinkle twinkle little dash, you will say star, right? So basically you are able to complete these sentences or maybe predict the next word easily, because your brain is already trained and you have maybe listened to this statement sometime back in your life, or uh, maybe you're able to relate the words cat with the mat, right? Okay, so that means that there is some level of training which has happened for you and your brain, where you're able to predict the next word or the statement. uh, that's it. In fact, I mean, you got how ChatGPT works. It is no rocket science actually. In fact, ChatGPT also is a next prediction machine. You may be confused as of now. You may be thinking, how is it possible that it is only just predicting the next word and giving so many responses? Yeah, that is true, because what has been done is that ChatGPT has been trained with so much of data. You can imagine millions of books, articles, uh, code, okay, uh, maybe software projects, research papers, right? So it has been trained with so much of data so many times, which for a normal human being it's actually impossible. Okay, and because of this training, and with the help of mix and match between different articles, books, projects, it has got so accustomed to these patterns, I should say. Okay, where it can actually predict the next word or the next statement or the next line, right? That is how ChatGPT works, and it does it so fast when it is giving you responses or acting on any instructions, that you don't realize that it is actually working on the concept of the next uh, word prediction. Okay, so whether it is about writing emails, or whether it is about explaining a code, or whether it is about answering anything about maybe medical heart surgery or anything, it is only because of the training which has been done on so many uh, so much of data, and secondly the way it has been programmed to learn the patterns, and based on the patterns give you the output. So it is not basically looking into any database. Whenever you ask a question, you may think that okay, it is working like a search engine, going and fetching some data in a database. No, that is That is not how ChatGPT works. It's a generative engine. It looks at the data and patterns, and in fact generates data. Okay, it's not like a static copy paste, copying the data from somewhere and then responding to you. No, that is not how ChatGPT works. It predicts basis the data and patterns which it has learned. Okay, so to predict the next word, I mean, you may be thinking that so much of prediction, how it can do. It is only possible because of the amount of data which has been used to train it is enormous. It's huge. Okay, that's the reason it is able to answer your questions on any kind of topic. Okay, so but sometimes it also happens that it may, predict or give you an answer, okay, where it can hallucinate, because since it is learning with respect to some data, okay, and that data may be obsolete, or maybe while it is learning the patterns, okay, it may learn an incorrect pattern, maybe 1% out of 100%, and it can give you some false data also. That is called as hallucination. So that you need to remember. You must have seen in ChatGPT, or maybe Claude or Gemini, there is a disclaimer down below which says that the AI can hallucinate, or AI can be wrong sometimes, so you need to check. So this is the basic part where it is actually acting like a next prediction machine. Just keep that in mind. That is how ChatGPT works. Now let's talk about some more concepts like LLM, which is large language model. Now, ChatGPT is trained on, as I told, books, articles. So, in a book, if there is a lot of English written in a specific type of grammar, it can grasp those patterns of grammar and English, right? And in fact, when it goes through articles also, where people write in their own tone, in their own way, in their own reasoning fashion, those patterns also ChatGPT can learn and understand. That is the reason when you chat with it, you realize that it is chatting with you as if some human is there. I mean, initially, some of my cousins used to think that somebody is sitting on the opposite side and responding to their questions, right? So that is not the case. It is only because it has learned the language patterns. Okay, has learned the language patterns. That's the reason it is able to first of all understand. When you also, or we also as humans, when we write a question, we don't write in very specific or very fine grammared language, right? We write it in a conversational format. It understands that because it has gone through so much of data, articles, right? So it can understand your conversational format, plus it can also respond in the conversational format. So conversational is something which is uh, understood by any large language model, right? So this modeling of the language comes from the language patterns which it has understood. So it's not like somebody sat down and typed the rules of English and the facts of history and made ChatGPT learn it, but only the data has been fed to ChatGPT, and it went through the data, and based on the pattern, since it's a machine, it needs some patterns, right, to actually come up with responses based on those patterns. Okay, next part which I wanted to explain is tokens. Now tokens is something, so I said that it's the next word predictor, or it predicts the next word. You can also say that it predicts the next token. So whenever you feed something, let's say if you ask a question, tell me how a machine works. Okay, what it does is that it breaks this data into chunks. Tell me how a machine works, or maybe if I write something like uh, give me, let's say, give me architectural details of a uh, mobile app. Okay, in this case also it can break these words into tokens. Maybe if it's a bigger word, you can have something like this. It can break this word into chunks, and these tokens are like data chunks which it can use to actually predict the next word or the next statement, right? And this is very important because whenever you're on a free plan of ChatGPT or uh, Claude or anything, so the tokens are an important factor for you to keep interacting with them. So for example, uh, maybe if your context window, when I say context window, the window in the single window when you start chatting, that is called as the context window, if it has a limit of 32,000 tokens, and you keep on chatting where you are giving the text and you are getting some text in the response, if those 32,000 tokens get exhausted, after that it will tell you that okay, tokens exhausted. Okay, and then you cannot move ahead, and maybe you have to use another context window, right? So that is the concept of tokens. So it you can change the next predictor word to next predictor of tokens, and tokens is very important because based on the tokens, it's an important part where when you're sizing the hardware, if you're building some AI agent or assistant in your organization, the compute has to be designed in such a way that it can handle so and so number of tokens as per the sizing which you are doing. Okay, uh, after that, after the tokens, the next part is training. Training is simple, as I told you. It has been trained on millions of books, right? Books, web pages, research papers, projects, etc. Right? In fact, whenever you're chatting with ChatGPT, at that point of time, also it is getting trained. It is whatever data you're feeding, that also it is using for its own training, right? So these are some concepts which I wanted to explain it to you. This actually creates a baseline where based on these concepts, you can go ahead and maybe create chatbots or assistants or agents. Okay, now why this is important for a builder or someone who is building these chatbot agents or assistants, is that if you don't know what is inside these LLMs or this AI, you will never be able to build it, right? For example, if you don't know that it needs patterns and large amount of data, or maybe if you are building a chatbot for your organization, it has to respond to, let's say it's a customer service chatbot, and it has to respond to a lot of customers. Now what are those queries or answers which has to be responded back to the customers? If you want to design that, you need to understand what data and patterns have to be fed to your chatbot, right? Then you need to also understand that how the tokens will be leveraged. Based on that, what kind of GPUs you may need to serve those many tokens, right? And how the training may happen, right? Correct. Since this is just a basic foundation video, I'm not getting deep into assistants, agents, and other advanced stuff. Maybe we can get into the same in the future videos which I build. Okay, so that this is why it is important for you to understand the basics as to how this chat gpt and other LLMs work. Okay, everything builds on top of these basic concepts. So I hope you got an idea as to how these work. uh, in the next video, probably I will take up how, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all of them are the next word machines, and how they differ slightly, and how they actually function. Uh, so I hope this was informative for you. If this made something click, and if it was clearer than the explanations you have had before, do two quick things. Hit like, because it genuinely helps this reach the next person trying to understand it. And of course, subscribe, because we are building this up properly, one idea at a time, and you will want the next piece, of course. Thank you.